Hey out there, legal warriors. What happens when your criminal case is over? What are the things you need to know to not make the mistakes that so many people make when their criminal case is over? If you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see it. More people get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. What happens in your criminal case once it's over? And I'm talking about, what do you need to know? What should you expect? Because, most attorneys aren't going to talk to you about what happens once it's over. You're talking to the attorney about, how am I going to get it over? What's the result going to be? Right? What do I need to do? What's it going to cost? But not very often do we ever get to talk about, what should I expect once it's over? And so, as always, the answer is it depends. But I'm going to cover some things that you need to know. The most important thing you need to know, that unless your case got dismissed outright, prosecutor moves to dismiss, or you want a jury trial. If you did, I'm glad. Clap. Thanks. You'll be one of the few people who go to trial and end up with a dismissal at trial. But if your case results in a stipulated order of continuance, which is a dismissal over time, some type of diversion, being found guilty of something, almost always there's going to be stuff you still need to do or stuff you still need to avoid doing. And if you mess up what you're supposed to do, or you mess up what you're not supposed to do, there's going to be consequences to your case, because usually there's some portion of the case is still going on. Now, if you have a stipulated order of continuance, if for those of you that are new to the channel, think of that as a contract between the government and the defendant that usually ends in a dismissal if the defendant lives up to the terms of the contract. So from the attorney's point of view, your case may be over because you've entered into this contract that's going to lead to dismissal. Well, that contract has certain terms you need to follow. In a domestic violence case, it might be complete DVMRT treatment, and that's usually 6 months of treatment. So there still might be treatment classes you have to go to, and more importantly, proof still has to be filed with the court. Now, if you happen to be working with my firm, we're going to follow that proof for you typically, okay? We're going to stick with you. We're going to make sure it gets done, because that's sort of the level of service my firm provides. Every firm is going to be different. Some firms may do the same thing. Some firms may do nothing. It's sort of an individual decision by how much Nordstrom quality care we're going to give to someone versus how much Comcast quality care, which is none, we're going to give to somebody. So you want to ask your attorney, hey, what do I still need to do? And how is proof of what I need to do going to get to the court, right? Your attorney may say, well, the treatment provider is going to send it. Your attorney may say, we're going to send it. The attorney may say, you need to send it. And it may depend. Let's say it's community service hours. Well, in that case, many attorneys are going to have you file your own proof of community service. For example, if you're working with my firm, we're going to have you get us proof. We're going to put a pretty cover sheet on it. We're going to send it into the court for you. And the reason why we want to put a cover sheet on it, even if you do this yourself, you should, is because we want to explain to the court clerk what it is. We don't want them searching and trying to figure it out, relying on them being, fully energetic and really ready to make a decision that you're in compliance. We want to tell them you're in compliance with the cover sheet and just have them look and go, yep, looks good. We don't want them to try to look at it and wonder what it is and do their own calculation, right? We want to make it easy to get the government happy with whatever it is you're supposed to do. So let's say you have some other type of resolution in the case. You have a resolution where you were found guilty of something. Well, typically speaking, you're going to have still some stuff left to do. You might have a probation appointment you need to make because you might be on probation. Ask your attorney, am I on a court-monitored probation, which means I don't need to see a probation staff member? Or am I on what most people would call active probation, where I need to see a staff member? If you miss a probation appointment, you're going to get violated and you may get sent to jail. And oftentimes when us attorneys are done, we leave the courtroom, we close the case, right? In our practice management software, there might not even be a probation appointment set yet. So what my firm typically does, and you talk to your attorney, is we're going to say, hey, remind us when your appointment is. Well, at least tell us when your first appointment is once you know. we'll at least remind you to go to the first one. We're going to trust you to go to the rest of them, but at least the first one we'll remind you to go to, okay? So if you don't have active probation, let's say you only have a court fine. Well, you need to make sure you know when you leave the court, how do I pay my fine, right? Can you pay it in full right then? Do I need to pay it off over time? Is there going to be interest or fees added if I pay it off over time? Each court is going to be different. Sometimes you can pay it online. Sometimes you pay it directly to the court. Sometimes you pay it through some type of third-party service that the court has contracted with to do all the work of taking payments. And if you do make payments, through any type of cash method, walking it in, or anyway, make sure you get receipts, because sometimes mistakes happen and we don't want you to have to pay more than once if things don't get credited properly. So it's another thing that you need to know. Additionally, you're going to want to, at the end of your case, to pay attention to what are the do nots that you're not allowed to do, right? Is there a do not you can't drink? Therefore, if you don't want to have a police report where you're drinking, right? Is there a do not that you can't get a new crime? Usually that's the case. Is there a do not you can't get a traffic infraction? Sometimes that's out there. Is there do not leave the state, right? Is there do not have contact with a certain person? Make sure you know what the do nots are so you can talk to your attorney about, number one, how to avoid the do nots, and number two, are they really going to be tracked or monitored or not? Okay, so how much do you have to worry about it? If there's a no drinking, clause in what you're doing, of course you should obey it. But, most people say, Lance, are they going to come UA me? Well, if you're not in treatment, probably not, right? No one's going to come to your house and check on you unless you've got like a felony level probation. That would be with a community corrections officer. They more have the rights to come and check on you, stuff like that. But talk to your attorney so you can see how this affects your real life going forward. Additionally, when the case is over, you want to make sure that you've, taken care of any final responsibilities with your attorney. You may get a closing letter from your attorney saying what to expect. You may get, a final bill from your attorney if you haven't have your attorney paid and try to work out something to get them paid off over time. And then also you want to ask your attorney, is it possible to get this off my official criminal history? How does that work, right? Let's say you got an arrest and the case got dismissed. Well, that arrest is still on your record. How long does it take, attorney, for that to get off my record? Is it possible? And what even do you mean by record? Well, talk to your attorney. That's something you want to think about following up. Your attorney may be able to sort of set a task to follow up with you when you're available, time-wise, when it's available for you to get the arrest record deleted. So, us attorneys, we're under so much pressure to try to get results, right? It varies widely between firms about the level of care that is going to be, given to a client to try to help them once the attorney part is over, where we've got a resolution of the case. And I'm not advertising for my firm here. I'm sure some other firms may do more care or less care than us. It's just things you need to think about, because so often the attorney's not going to talk about anything besides stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. Call me if you get in trouble. Stay out of trouble. And, it's a whirlwind. I even realize that so many times that client may be standing right next to me in court, and I know exactly what the court said, but there's so much pressure on the client that they didn't hear a word. What happened? They don't know what happened, right? It's always surprising as the attorney when this person that's really intelligent next to me says, what just happened? And don't be afraid to ask your attorney what just happened when court's over. And certainly don't be afraid to say, hey, could you really break it down for me? What do I need to know from this point forward, since you're not going to be trying to resolve my case anymore? You're going to be working on other cases. So I think those are some things you need to know. It's just don't screw up by getting into new problems, and don't screw up by failing to do affirmative things. And then the gotcha is, even if you do it, if the court doesn't have proper proof you did it, it didn't happen. Okay? That's when we have to fix quite a lot for people coming to us where we weren't the attorneys following up on making sure things got done right after the case was resolved. So if you found this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see it. More people get the help they need. And more importantly, if a criminal matter in Washington State, you can always give us a call, see if we can help. If we get on board, we'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.